You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This is a hell of a resume opportunity, right, for one of these two teams. They're both going to come in at 7-2. Neither one of them has a bad loss. You look at Arkansas; they had very competitive losses against Michigan State and Duke, who are both ranked very high. Obviously, yours are against Illinois and Purdue. And I think there's some top 20, thought process with both of these two teams, right? And, the Ken Palm, the net rankings all suggest these teams are like, somewhere between 15 and 20 in the country. And both teams are essentially going to have close to a full week off between this game and their last one. I think Tech played against LSU this past Sunday, obviously, and I think it was Arkansas that played Fresno State either last Friday or last Saturday, and then there's been no midweek game for these two. You will arguably face one of the most talented guards in the country when you're talking about this Arkansas team, and Darius Acuff, who is a projected one and done. I think he's a 5-star point guard. He's 6'3". Last mock draft I saw, he had him 17th in the first round. He's averaging about 17 a game and about 5 assists a game, and shooting 42% from three. And he's an impressive. It's just one of many. This is one of the most loaded years for true freshmen that I can ever remember, and so many of which you're going to see, and in some cases twice. With Devonsa and Kingston Flemings, who you tried to get, Darren Peterson for Kansas, but this Darius Acuff is as good as any of them. And I think that Arkansas is really good in transition. I think they are arguably, they're like second in the country in transition points. I think that they're third in the country as far as the percentage of their points come from running up and down the floor. So it is, the transition defense will be the biggest key for Texas Tech in this one. You mentioned LeJuan Watts, and I hope that we're starting to see what everybody had envisioned here, and I think we probably are. After the game on Sunday, Grant told me, of course I asked about him. He was a 15-10 guy on Sunday against LSU, but some of this was intentional. So I'm asking about it because he had a double-double. So, right, like, hey, man, LeJuan, you played well. And he said yes, and it's because he played so well on defense. I don't think it was perfect, but it was a step up. And as we all know, it's amazing how much better defensively you play when the shot goes in on the other end, how much better you play on offense when you're playing really good defense. And sometimes players, the energy and everything, it spills over on the defensive end if they're having a rough night on offense. And that's what Grant's job and task is like, it can't matter. It can't matter what kind of day you're having on one end of the floor. I need all you've got on the other end. But I think Grant's point is, you play good defense, it's amazing how much better you play on offense too, right? And so, but here's what I wanted to bring up. I think they're starting to figure some things out about taking some pressure off of Christian and JT by giving the ball to LeJuan in the middle of the floor and taking Christian off the ball and letting LeJuan operate a little bit. And he played some one-on-one in the paint and backed some Tigers down on Sunday and was able to score. But it looks pretty good because the last thing you need to worry about with LeJuan Watts is scoring. He's going to be able to do that against pretty much anybody that they play. But can I get you to rebound? Can I get you to defend? But if you can get him to operate in the middle of the floor a little bit, let him facilitate or let him play make, however you want to phrase that, it helps Christian out too. Because I think he's felt the brunt of that. And so this is, I think, the next step of watching this piece get ingrained in some things that I think they feel like they need to start to capitalize on. And this is especially when the game slows down, but I think you can also let LeJuan get a rebound and initiate the break too. I think he's a very good passer and a willing passer.
I don't want to overstate it, and I don't know what's going to happen, but this feels like a really needed game to get coming up on Saturday. And I'm sure both teams are saying that, but as you've already touched on, the stakes are going to feel a little bit higher, I think, than just some mid-December basketball kind of typically does. And part of that's Calipari being on a sideline or a tournament rematch or things like that. But given the fact that so far, Chris, you have not measured up to one of your top 25 opportunities. You did get what a quad would win, I think we talked about in LSU technically, but I really feel like Texas Tech needs this one, probably for themselves, for us, even most importantly, the fans, but everybody get a little momentum, man, rolling downhill into Madison Square Garden or potentially Big 12 play a little further down the road. So this is a big one, and I knew that they would feel, bigger than normal, non-conference wise. But given the fact that you just hadn't gotten over the hump, and obviously we're a long way away from Purdue, really hoping that Tech maybe can have a nice showing this weekend, and maybe some Red Raiders there to spur them on. First, today's episode brought to you by FanDuel, and football is in full force, and FanDuel is keeping you stocked with action every game day with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet only $5, and if your bet hits, you're getting $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Player props, building a same-game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. Any way you like it, FanDuel has you covered. Quick, easy, and secure every time. If you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
Oh, yeah. It won't be the crowd like it was in Fort Worth, but it'll be, I don't know, split, if you will. You hope to have plenty of people there. I mean, the Metroplex is, they used to call Reunion Arena Barnhill South. I remember going to many Southwest Conference tournaments there when Nolan Richardson was running up and down the, Todd Day, Lee Mayberry, and Oliver Miller and that whole crew. And they would put, I mean, those Arkansas fans would set up those Winnebagos in that parking lot and set up all week for the Southwest Conference tournament, man. They'd be calling the hogs from the rafters. But this is an important one. There's just no doubt, man. I mean, and you want to be in a position where I would say at minimum, I mean, golly, if you dare to dream a little bit, if you could get both of them, look out. But you want to be able to win. You want to go 1-1 at minimum over this little Arkansas Duke stretch. Either one of those games will pay huge dividends for you in March when they start putting the bracket together and all those things. But if you lose them both, it's not gonna be ideal. You just need some over the hump type victory. This is like a young person working at Chick-fil-A and going to apply for another job, because when an employer is looking at it and be like, okay, you worked at Chick-fil-A? Okay, well then you've been vetted, you are good people, you're trained in all that stuff. I mean, it's like these are two games that on your resume, it's going to look really, really good, and it will stay looking good because Arkansas and Duke are going to be competitive throughout.
I'm tracking, and I believe that holds water. No doubt about it. And it's our pleasure to serve you today. Thank you for stopping by to join us on Locked On Texas Tech. Chris, thank you for your time and the insight as always. We'll get into mailbag mode for a final round this week on the next one. Looking forward to it. We'll see you then.
Enjoyed it, man. Mailbag, bring them on. We'll do the best we can with it. Guns up, and keep hope alive, and keep your head on a swivel with these portal announcements.
That's right. No question. And get subscribed on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts so you never miss a thing. And, of course, thank you to the Everydayers and the Matador Mob. Hit our show notes and find a link to a free 14-day trial. If you're interested in joining that crew, it's your direct line to Chris and myself with one-on-one text sent straight to your phone. For Chris, I'm Casey. Thanks, as always, for the time. We hope to see you back for the next round on Locked On Texas Tech.